Tonight, breaking news, air traffic control in multiple cities now affected by this government shutdown. Newark, Nashville, Dallas, Chicago, all among them. More air traffic controllers forced to work without pay, now calling in sick tonight. The FAA now warning at least 8 major air traffic control facilities facing staffing shortages tonight. What about the passenger planes in the air, and authorities now warning of delays that have already begun? Tonight, the new threat from President Trump, saying some federal workers who've been furloughed in this shutdown might not get back pay, saying some of the workers, quote, really don't deserve to be taken care of. Members of Congress still getting paid with no solution in sight. The fireworks on the Hill, Attorney General Pam Bondi and Democratic senators grilling her over the prosecution of President Trump's foes, including former FBI Director James Comey, and grilling her over the Epstein files. The White House tonight pleased with Bondi's performance. A medical helicopter crashing onto a highway. Drivers on that highway racing to try to lift the chopper up to save a member of the crew. The former NFL star quarterback Mark Sanchez tonight, the prosecutor in the case, telling ABC News the charges against Sanchez could get more serious. The prosecutor arguing Sanchez was the clear aggressor in that altercation with the 69-year-old. What Mark Sanchez's family is saying tonight. Overseas tonight, it's been 2 years now since the October 7th attack by Hamas. Tonight, the high-stakes talks underway to end this war and what's now expected tomorrow. Back in the U.S. tonight, summer in October, temperatures in the 80s, but the front now bringing storms and heavy rain already moving in. Lee Goldberg on the big change coming. He has the forecast. The crane into a home, a truck with a crane on it lifting off the ground as that crane then smashes through the roof. The hot air balloon crashing into power lines. There is late word on the condition of the pilot tonight. And America Strong this evening, you have to see this. The woman in desperate need, the hero dog that went for help. How that dog knew exactly what to do. And you'll see it.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here on a very busy Tuesday night. We begin tonight with the breaking news. Air traffic control in multiple cities now being affected by this government shutdown. Newark to Nashville, Dallas to Chicago, all among the towers and facilities now affected. More air traffic controllers who are working without pay, calling in sick. And as we come on tonight, the FAA now warning of staffing issues in at least 8 major air traffic control facilities across the country. Nashville's tower, for one, has extremely limited staff, so some of its traffic, passenger planes coming in, are now being handled by controllers in Memphis. There are already delays and cancellations across the country. Authorities warn this is just the beginning. In fact, overnight, the airport in Burbank, California, forced to close its tower for nearly 6 hours because it had no staff. Controllers in San Diego taking over. The government shutdown with no end in sight, and those air traffic controllers, of course, are tasked with keeping our passenger planes taking off and landing safe. ABC's Gio Benitez leading us off from Newark Airport tonight.
Tonight, just a week into this government shutdown, the disruption to air travel is growing. The FAA now warning of staff shortages at least 8 major air traffic control facilities, threatening cancellations and delays across the country. From Las Vegas to Chicago, Dallas and Houston to Boston, Newark, Atlanta, and Nashville, air traffic controllers are working without pay and now calling out sick.
It's closed. Everything in the tower is closed.
Last night, the airport in Burbank, California, was forced to close its tower for nearly 6 hours because it had no staff. Controllers in San Diego were able to take over air traffic control, but flights were delayed for hours.
Is it because of the shutdown that you guys are going? It's for staffing.
Air traffic controllers are considered essential workers, and they don't get back pay until a shutdown is over. They're already facing extreme staffing shortages and problems with outdated equipment. Tonight, the union telling us the situation is not a coordinated sick-out. It's urging members to report for work, but says these air traffic controllers have bills to pay too.
We work evening shifts. We work midnight shifts. We have single parents. And when you're not even able to afford the child care, those are going to be the very difficult decisions that are made.
And David, we're already starting to see these flight delays tonight. In fact, this is exactly what we saw during the last major shutdown. We're now seeing it again. And if this goes on, well, we could be looking at a situation that's much worse. David.
Gio Benitez live in Newark tonight. Gio, thank you. Meantime, tonight with this government shutdown, the new threat from President Trump now suggesting that some of the 750,000 furloughed government workers told to stay home during this shutdown may not get paid for time lost. The president said today, quote, some people really don't deserve to be taken care of. He was asked what he meant by that. By the way, members of Congress are still getting paid through this with no end in sight. Rachel Scott at the White House.
Tonight, a new threat out of the White House. President Trump suggesting some of the 750,000 federal workers now furloughed without paychecks may not get back pay when the government reopens, even though that is the law.
I would say it depends on who we're talking about. But for the most part, we're going to take care of our people. There are some people that really don't deserve to be taken care of, and we'll take care of them in a different way.
The idea of the president deciding who will and who won't get back pay, a new fear for many federal workers. James Jones is a veteran who is now furloughed from his job as a maintenance mechanic in the National Park Service in North Carolina.
If we don't get back pay, that's going to be devastating for a lot of folks, a lot of federal employees, because they're going to, they depend on that back pay money to catch up on their bills.
President Trump would not say which workers stand to lose that money.
Why do you say some federal workers should not get their back pay? Why do you say some?
Well, you're going to have to figure that out, okay? Ask the Democrats that question.
And Democrats say what the president is proposing defies a law he signed himself.
The law is clear. Every single furloughed federal employee is entitled to back pay. Period. Full stop.
And even some Republicans tonight calling it, quote, a strategic mistake.
There's a lot of good, hardworking people out there. It's just, I don't think that is helpful discussion right now. Let's get out of the shutdown.
All right, so let's get to Rachel Scott live at the White House tonight. Rachel, as we pointed out, Congress still getting paid, but no sign of any compromise or any end in sight.
David, lawmakers are still getting their paychecks, but at this point, it does not even seem like these two sides are even talking. Tonight, Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries saying the White House has gone radio silent on these negotiations, David.
Rachel Scott again tonight. Thank you, Rachel. Now to the fireworks on Capitol Hill. Attorney General Pam Bondi and the Democratic senators grilling her over the prosecution of President Trump's foes, including former FBI Director James Comey, and over the Epstein files. The White House tonight pleased with Bondi's performance. Here's Pierre Thomas.
Tonight, a defiant Attorney General Pam Bondi repeatedly clashing with Democrats on the Senate Judiciary Committee, who accused her of allowing President Trump to weaponize the Justice Department.
What was once the Department of Justice has become the Department of Revenge and Corruption.
Bondi challenged on her move to prosecute former FBI Director James Comey, just 6 days after President Trump publicly urged her to do so, posting, "Nothing is being done, and we can't delay any longer."
I'd like to know from you what conversations you've had with President Trump about the indictment of James Comey.
Senator, I am not going to discuss any conversations I have or have not had with the President of the United States.
Did you see that?
Connecticut Senator Richard Blumenthal showing a picture of Bondi at the White House the night before Comey was indicted.
That's a great
James
picture.
Comey discussed at that dinner?
I love that picture. That's a great picture, and there were a lot of people there that night.
The Attorney General also refusing to explain why the Justice Department closed its investigation into a close Trump aide. Border czar Tom Homan, who allegedly accepted a bag stuffed with $50,000 in cash in 2024 as part of an FBI bribery sting, a transaction allegedly caught on tape.
Is there a tape that has audio and video of the transfer of the $50,000?
You would have to talk to Director Patel about that.
No, I'm talking to you.
I don't know the answer, Senator.
Yeah, you do know the answer to that.
Don't call me a liar.
I didn't call you a liar.
Bondi declining to say what happened to the $50,000 in cash or whether Homan even took the money.
General,
do you know?
I said that.
Do you know sitting here whether
All
he took
I
the money?
know is that Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche and FBI Director Patel said there was no case.
The Attorney General also grilled about the Justice Department's refusal to hand over all its files and to sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, and whether the president himself was named in the files.
So who gave the order to flag records related to President Trump?
To flag records for President Trump?
To flag any records which included his name.
I'm not going to discuss anything about that with you, Senator.
Eventually, you're going to have to answer for your conduct in this.
But as Democrats demanded answers, Republicans heaping on the praise.
Our families are safer because you are returning the Department of Justice to its core function, which is enforcing the law and locking up bad guys.
David, the White House said to be pleased with the AG's performance. This is former FBI Director James Comey, and Trump nemesis is due in court tomorrow morning to face arraignment on charges of lying to Congress and obstruction. David?
And you'll be following that for us, Pierre Thomas, tonight. Pierre, thank you. Now to the storms and heavy rain tonight. A cold front moving in from Kentucky right through the Ohio Valley, then east. From this summer and October we've been seeing to a dramatic change on the way. The images already tonight, streets turned into lakes in Louisville, Kentucky. You can see the cars stranded there. Let's bring in WABC Chief Meteorologist Lee Goldberg, tracking it all for us. Lee?
Indeed, David, we're tracking a sharp cold front. It's sweeping the summer warmth off the East Coast. We're going to go from 80 today in New York to 48 by Thursday morning. The front also bringing up to 3 inches of rain from Louisville to Lexington behind the front. Frost advisories and freeze warnings. In fact, Detroit went from 85 to 55. Rain delaying the Tiger game, but they're drying out. That air comes into the Northeast, 80s turning into 60s and 50s. Jerry formed in the Atlantic today, 10th named storm of the season, heads to the Leeward Islands, probably brushes that area Thursday into Friday. Tropical storm watches there, goes to a Cat 1 or 2 east of Bermuda later in the weekend. David?
Big change coming. Lee Goldberg, thank you. Tonight, the FAA is investigating the crash of a medical helicopter on a busy highway in Sacramento. Drivers on that highway then racing to try to lift the chopper up to help rescue someone. Matt Gutman with the images tonight.
The chopper had just lifted off from Sacramento's UC Davis Medical Center when it suddenly started coming down fast. Blades shredding the pavement as it slammed into Highway 50 around 7 p.m.
But it was a horrible, horrible scene. Never seen nothing like that in my life.
Isabella Lozano says she slammed on her brakes as it crashed right in front of her. Then her grandson, Christopher, among others, sprang into action to free the female crew member trapped underneath it.
Like a bunch of people came and we helped lift the helicopter and we pulled her under. We had to pull her from under.
There were no patients on board, and the pilot and 2 crew members are in critical condition but alive tonight. Many calling it a miracle. The single-engine Airbus EC-130T2 did not hit any cars, and the chopper's crash-resistant fuel system, mandatory in all newly manufactured civil helicopters since 2020, appears to have worked as designed, preventing a post-crash explosion.
David, the FAA says it's taking the lead in the investigation, and the company the helicopter was registered to, Reach Air Medical Services, they say they are cooperating with that investigation. David.
Matt Gutman from Los Angeles. Matt, thank you. Now to the former NFL star quarterback Mark Sanchez, arrested in his hospital bed after that alleged altercation. Tonight, what the prosecutor in this case is now telling ABC News. Matt Rivers from Indianapolis.
Prosecutors telling ABC News tonight they are not ruling out upgrading more charges against former New York Jets quarterback Mark Sanchez. The lead prosecutor, Ryan Mears, telling me video evidence determined Sanchez, who's now charged with a felony, was the clear aggressor when he attacked 69-year-old Perry Toll over parking. Toll, a delivery truck driver, was in the middle of his shift when Sanchez approached.
The confrontation doesn't necessarily make a ton of sense. Aggravated battery is even a more serious charge or crime that could potentially be at play here.
The altercation happening right there. Police saying Sanchez attacked the delivery driver. The driver then responding, they say, in self-defense, using pepper spray, even stabbing Sanchez several times. Bleeding, he then takes off down that alleyway. Around 12:30 a.m. Saturday, Sanchez, now a Fox Sports analyst, is seen here bloodied in surveillance video obtained by the New York Post. The former NFL star clutching his chest, stumbling. Toll telling police he thought Sanchez was, quote, trying to kill me.
My client was just the victim of an unprovoked, senseless attack.
Toll's severe injuries seen here in this hospital photo obtained by ABC affiliate WRTV. David, Sanchez underwent surgery and has since posted bond. His family says he is focused on his recovery and at this point is focused on the legal process moving forward. David?
Matt Rivers reporting for us. Matt, thank you. Overseas tonight, it's been 2 years now since the October 7th attack by Hamas. Well, tonight the high-stakes talks underway to end this war and what's now expected tomorrow. Ian Pannell in Tel Aviv for us.
Real hope tonight, 2 years after Hamas' deadly attack on Israel, as peace talks ramp up in Egypt. Top officials from the US, Qatar, Turkey and Israel set to join tomorrow as momentum grows for a deal to end the war and bring all the remaining hostages home. Israel today pausing to mark the moment Hamas attacked, killing 1,200 people, taking 251 more hostage. On the morning of October 7th, 2023, thousands of Hamas militants stormed across the border into Israel, many of them coming here where there was a music festival taking place. At the sound of gunfire, panic and terror spread through the crowds as they tried to escape as the gunmen opened fire. Tal Haimi died defending his kibbutz, his body still being held by Hamas in Gaza. Tonight, his cousin Udi praising President Trump's push for peace. Has President Trump's direct involvement in this made a difference?
This would not have happened. This wouldn't have happened without the direct involvement of President Trump. I have no doubt in my mind.
Our team on the ground in Gaza, where 2 years of bloody war have left over 67,000 dead, according to the Hamas-run health ministry. Ahmed Temraz sceptical a deal can be reached, saying Gaza is a graveyard for the living. Our lives are not a toy in your hands. It's enough. David, President Trump today meeting with freed American hostage Edan Alexander at the White House and the family of Omar Nutra, whose body is still being held by Hamas, saying tonight we are very close to making a deal that'll bring peace to the Middle East. David.
Ian Panel with us from Tel Aviv, who's been covering this war from the start. Ian, thank you. When we come back, a hot air balloon crashing into power lines, the images coming in, and there's news on the pilot's condition tonight. Also, the crane into a home, the truck with a crane on it, the truck lifting off the ground as the crane smashes right through that roof. And later, America Strong. Tonight, you have to see this. The grandmother in desperate need, the hero dog that went for help, how the dog knew exactly what to do, going up to the deputy's car. And you'll see this in a moment. Tonight, the crane crashing into a home in Hamilton Township, New Jersey, near Trenton. Aerial video showing the long arm of a crane nearly slicing through the roof of this home. That crane was mounted on a truck that actually lifted off the ground. No one was hurt. When we come back here, a hot air balloon crashing into power lines. There's news on the pilot tonight. And then that hero dog. Tonight, authorities are calling him the real-life Lassie, and you'll see why. To the index of other news, a hot air balloon colliding with power lines in Albuquerque. The balloon still inflated as crews safely removed it. The pilot was not hurt. This is the second balloon to hit power lines during the city's hot air balloon festival this year alone. Well, tonight, Taylor Swift on all this talk of a possible Super Bowl performance. Swift revealing on the Tonight Show that she'd been asked by Jay-Z how she feels about doing the show, but that the conversation was never an official offer. By the way, she did add that if she was officially asked, she wouldn't be able to do it, saying she's, quote, too locked in to do the show anyway, so busy with her schedule. When we